welcome. I can see Adesua, you
Good
are
evening,
welcome.
sir.
Good evening, you are
Happy
welcome. You are
weekend.
welcome. Caleb, you are welcome. I can see Mustafa, you are welcome.
Thank you,
I
sir.
can see Lem, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you are welcome. Please, let's drop emoji on the platform. Our numbers are still very few. We are still less than 10. Yes. Let's do emoji. Let's drop message on the platform. People to join. Okay, so I'm going to start. I don't want us to wait time. I want the people that will be joining to meet us that we have started. If you're man, you are welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So once again, I welcome each and every one of us into this live class. So welcome into this live class. So before I continue, let me quickly share. If I come back here. Okay. So I welcome each and every one of us into May 2025 diet live class. I'm going to be giving us examination tips, but I want to show us something quickly before I continue. Let me see. I just hope I will see this thing here. Okay. Yes. Please confirm if you can see my screen. So I'm going
Yes,
to
Yes, we
mention this
can see
thing.
your screen.
This screen I'm showing is showing things that this slide showing the comparison between the new syllabus 2025, which will take effect from next diet, November diet, and last syllabus, which was 2021 syllabus. What I just want to point out that I'm going to be talking about in this live class was the things that Ican said they are going to be introducing to case study, under case study. So they said they are going to be adding ethics. We've been doing ethics before. We always discuss ethics, ethical issues. So now they are going to be looking at ethics in broader perspectives. You know, they're going to be looking at ethics in broader perspective, and they're going to be looking at ESG. ESG is talking about environment, social, and governance. So they are talking about how ESG integration into case study. Now, I'm going to show us something. So let me come here. So let me show. Okay, so now I'm going to also discuss, you know, this is ESG, what ESG stands for, talking about environmental factor, social factor, governance factors, and why ESG, what it does. So some of things I'll be mentioning under this particular live class, in focus. Now, my idea is that yes, I can say that they will start testing the new syllabus from November diet. But if you have listened to the seminar or the this thing that was done by, I think, Dr. Julius and Dr. Olanrewaju, Sheyi Olanrewaju, when they were talking about changes and reason, one of the things they mentioned, some of the things they mentioned are the things that I would like us to also pay attention to. They will not start this. They said that it will not start until next diet, November diet. But these are some of the changes that we should expect. And the way I like to prepare my students, I like us to prepare that, okay, what if they bring some of these things in our exam this diet? Because the truth is that we all don't know what will come. Or maybe we will start having a little bit of an idea when we see the pre-sync question. When we see the pre-sync question, don't forget that after this live class, we're going to have another class called the pre-sync discussion, where we're going to dissect the pre-sync and all of that. So in this live class, I'll be sharing some of the things. I'll be sharing some of the things that normal things that we've been discussing, things that you should get ready, before your exam, and some of the things. Then I will discuss also some of this area I point out to. So I'm going to go back now. So we're going to start up. I just to prep us for things that we'll be discussing. So let me go back to sharing my a minute. Okay. So let me go back to what I want for. Yes, this. So I said all of that. I want us to really, sometimes for the purpose of exam, it's good to over prepare and let it be that by the time you see the question, it becomes very simpler. That is, you over prepare than to under prepare and get into the exam, and you now notice that, hey, this area, they didn't say they will start treating it this diet, so they didn't tell us to, you understand? Because I'm very sure that either the question for this diet will have been ready by now. Today is 3rd of May. The question will have been ready. It will probably have been printed and kept somewhere, so that will inform some of the things I'm going to be discussing with us. Like I said earlier, in the seminar I listened to that Dr. Julius did, they mentioned a lot of things. They emphasize on sustainability, they emphasize on forensic, they emphasize on what other area, forensic, they mentioned about soft skill, CBT, quite a number of them. But let's start with this live class. So when we get to that level, then I'll say more things on it. So once again, for those that are joining, welcome, and let's just start. Once again, if you are joining for the first time, my name is Taiwo Aweyemi. So I'm your case study lecturer. So I'll be taking through this live class. In this live class, we are going to be looking at things that you should get ready, things that you should have at your fingertips. One of the things they normally say is that preparation, is the secret of success. In fact, someone put it that proper preparation is what prevents poor performance. Proper preparation is what prevents poor performance. So preparation is a lot. So I'm going to start this live class with general tips. After then, I'm going to discuss things that you should avoid by preparing for exam. I'm going to discuss, like I said, that it is very easy to pass case study at once. Case study happen at the professional level. Case study happen to be one of the dreaded course. As it were that it looks like one of the dreaded course, some people have passed it at one sitting. a lot of people have passed case study at one sitting. You understand? That is the truth. Why? Proper preparation, it prevents poor performance. So we're going to be looking at what are the things that we should give to ourselves, because if you prepare properly, most definitely you will pass the exam at one sitting. And one thing is that strategy is more than energy. A lot of people put a lot of energy reading, covering syllabus, but they don't have strategy to pass the exam. So these are the things we'll be discussing in this live class. What are the strategies? You should have your strategy. If you need to create an acronym for certain things, create an acronym that will help you remember those things in the exam. There are certain areas we are going to test. If you look at the new syllabus, they say they are going to do away with some of the simple financial accounting calculation. Those are the things they are going to do away. That is and case study will now come in form. They are going to include something that involves more ethical discussion, ethical issues, something that has to do with talking about ESG, that is environment, social factor, and government, how it affects business. That is, whenever you are taking a decision, we have left the data that in business, when you are taking decision, you must consider that this decision we want to take, how does it affect our environment? And that's why I said that is where we are going to end this live class. We are going to, how does it affect my environment? How does it affect the social environment? So we are going to see, when you mean by environment, what are the factors? When you say you are looking at the environment, what are the factors you should be considering? We will look at it. When you say social factor, what are the social factors you are referring to? We will look at it. When you say the third one is governance, when you say governance, and those three areas, it means that when you are reading your case study, you should be looking out for them. That, oh, how does this factor, which category does it fall into? Because they have released the new syllabus, they have told you the changes, they have told you things they will be testing. It will be wise for a wise student to quickly look at it and align, beginning from this direct exam, and align with those things and make sure that you are not caught foul. If a question should come in that direction, that question should not cut you unaware, because those information is already available in the public domain for us to take advantage of it and align ourselves. Since the institute has said this is the direction of the exam now, it is best to align in that direction, so that in case by mistake question comes in that direction, you are fully equipped and prepared to tackle any question that will come in that or that may come in that direction. And it will even be excellent if you pattern your answer, your response to question, even in this diet, in that direction. So what we are going to get there. So let's kickstart. Let's kickstart. So we're going to start looking at the general tips. What is number one? Ensure you get to the exam hall minimum of 30 minutes before the exam and identify your seat. This thing looks simple, it looks casual, but the truth is that it's part of preparation. You know that Ican don't wait for anybody. Make sure whatever, you know where you are living. If you don't know the center, make sure you go and ensure you know the center before the exam date, so that you don't get late, you don't arrive late to the exam. So what we are saying here, that make sure you get to the exam or minimum of 30 minutes before the start of the exam. If the exam will start by 9 o'clock on dot, you know Ican don't wait. On 9 o'clock, I will say everybody seated. They will start sharing. They will start sharing the they will first of all share the answer script first before they will share the question. They will make sure everybody is seated and share the question, because the moment they share a question, they will look at time. They will say your exam starts now. So that is it. So make sure that you get to the exam 30 minutes before the exam. Calculate it to just make sure wherever you are living, whatever, whether you want to use train, bus, make sure you are in the exam 30 minutes before the exam. The question is that what will I use this 30 minutes for? Number one, you need that part of the 30 minutes to calm down and put yourself in the examination mood. Number two, you need that 30 minutes to locate your seat. Some people, exam have started because they come late. It is during the exam when people have started, they are down looking their seats because they don't know your name. It is your examination number, and you don't know how the hall will be arranged. They will not allow anybody into the hall until they open the door for everybody to start coming in. So you don't know. So you need time to locate your seat, because you cannot sit on someone else's seat, because your examination number will have been on your. So that is part of why you need the 30 minutes. So settle down, make sure you have all your writing material with you and all of that. Locate your seat. You understand? That is what you need 30 minutes for. That's why the 30 minutes is extremely important. I'll go to the next point. Next point says, once you get to the exam hall, don't panic, because panic will increase your level of anxiety, thereby it can make you to easily forget things. Now, what this point is saying is that normally, for those that are writing for the first time, even those that have been writing it, I wrote this exam, I started from 8 years. So even every time I get to the exam, I still get panic. Why? When I see people, the funny thing is that sometimes you get to the exam, you will see some people, they will be reading international foreign textbook. They'll be reading foreign textbook that you have not seen before. Maybe you are just a quiet person, you are just reading only your notes. And I remember the day we were writing economics, and somebody was reading one foreign textbook. I was scared, like, that are we writing the same exam? I've not seen this textbook before. Something like that. So don't panic. Normally, there want to be a fear, but you have to reassure yourself. Some people that failed, it's not that they don't prepare, it's because of they miss out some of these things we are saying. It's not that they don't prepare, it's not that they didn't attend classes, it's not that they didn't do, but they allow fear. Fear will cripple what you know. That is it. Don't allow fear. How do you chase away fear? Is to tell yourself repeatedly that I have what it takes to pass this exam. I have what it takes to pass this exam. You have to continuously reassure yourself until they give you that paper. Personally, as I'm talking to you, whenever I will still be afraid up to the time I see the question. So when I now see the question, I'll not say, oh, I've seen this question. Now this question, they are simple now. Are you getting it? But that's what I mean by I will still be afraid. It's not really being afraid. Just that is the anticipation that, oh, I don't know the question that is coming. I don't know the question that is coming. That is just the excitement. But I'm saying to you that don't be afraid. Don't panic. If you have ever passed any exam before, it means that you can surely pass this one. Because the moment you start allowing your fear, or allow your friend, or listening to certain things that will make you be afraid, then you are losing your chance of passing that exam. So let's do away with fear. So one of the things that also create fear and panic is when somebody gets to the exam late. Imagine somebody is getting to the exam after 9 when the exam has already started. There is no way such a person will definitely be under tension. Not only pressure now, it will be under tension, under serious tension, because they will not wait for you. They will not, because of you, increase the time. If the paper is 3 hours, it's 3 hours. If the paper is 4 hours, after 4 hours, they will stop everybody. You understand? And for people that come extremely late, they will not allow them into the exam, especially when it past certain time. They will not allow them into the exam. That is why you have to prepare yourself and plan yourself. For those that are writing this diet, I move to the next one quickly because of our time. If you are giving your exam question paper, first thing you should do is to read carefully the instructions. Yeah, this cannot be emphasized. Read the instruction. Read the instruction. Don't assume that you know. They may have changed something. Make sure you read instruction. I normally share my example. I normally use myself as an example. I have had reference in a level before because I failed to read an instruction. So the instructions say answer number 1 is compulsory. So because I didn't read it, I saw that number 1 that why? I just say, well, let me go and read the other one. Why I went to go and do the other one, I was carried away. And I end up not doing that number 1. And I knew because I did very well in those ones I did. Yes, I had reference. It was not total failure. It was a marginal failure. So I had reference. And that reference made me to come back. You understand? So reading instruction for exam is very, very important. For example, most of your courses now, regardless of whether you are writing other subject or case study, number one is always compulsory, and it carries the highest mark. And the question is that the moment you don't answer number one, it does not matter what you are written in other ones. The person is coming back for that diet. The moment you did not attempt, that's why they will put it. Now for case study, where they put it is executive summary. They normally put it executive summary. They put it separately. Any student that fails not to write something, in fact, it is as bad as, even if you don't know what to write, it's better that you write the question, you write executive summary. Just start with something. You must write something. You must attempt. That's why they say attempt the question. Attempt 5 out of 7. Attempt this out of, you understand? So it is to attempt. They didn't say come and prove Kini, but attempt. You understand? So that is why it's very important to attempt. Your inability to attempt that question, it means you are coming back. They feel that you have flouted that instruction, and it's a fundamental. So instruction is key to passing this exam. It is key. It is key. You may think that I know it's going to be this. Don't assume. Read it again. Make sure that you follow instruction. Follow instruction. It's very important. Next point. I'll be talking about next point. Say if you come across any question you don't understand, don't get scared. Don't get scared and start wasting time on the question. So what this number 4 is saying is that, look, if you come across a question you don't know, now I like this point you are keeping. Okay, if you are not the one talking, can you please mute yourself? It's like somebody's background is making noise. Can everybody please mute if you are not the one talking? Can you mute yourself? Has everybody muted themselves? I'm still hearing voice. If you are not the one talking, please can you mute yourself? Mustafa, can you mute yourself, please?
Mustafa, mute yourself.
Are these people, are they with us? And I'm hearing some sound at the background. Can you mute yourself? I think the noise is actually coming from Mustafa. Does anybody have his number? I can reach out to him. Ifeoma, can you mute yourself? Ifeoma, can you hear me? Mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Okay, so I think we have sound background now. Yes, we have sound background now because of people that will listen to this afterwards, so that we don't. So as I was saying, so I say I like this point we are treating here. The point says that if you come across any question you don't understand, don't be scared and start wasting time on the question. So what he's saying is that if you see any question you don't understand, You don't need to be scared. Go and start with what you know. But I have an explanation here, a clarification. So don't start with those questions first. Just go ahead answering the ones you already understand, then come back to the tough one later. So how this is relates to case study is that some people say, okay, I don't know what to write, and that is part of thing we are going to do. Number one, what the examiner asks you is write a report. You should not start your working on the first page. And we are going to look at the template again. People that have followed religiously everything we say in live class, they always come back with testimony that they pass the case study. Because it has a template. You cannot start with working, and you have to start with your main report, and your main report starts with a cover page, and probably after it you do your content. Immediately after that, probably you follow what is page 2. Page 2 is executive summary. So if you don't know everything, it doesn't mean that, oh, you should not start writing what you know. Write your cover page. All the information you need on cover page that will have been discussed in our pre-scene. After we finish pre-scene, you will know what to write on cover page. After we finish pre-scene, you will know what to write, at least maybe first 2 lines of your executive summary. All of those ones. In fact, in one of our classes that we took class, when we treated executive summary, I shared an example, a practical example of a executive summary, how you can start, how you can take information that has already been provided in the pre-scene, how you can use it to formulate something and write something. You don't have to get it exactly. All you need to do is to make an attempt. And that attempt can be a determining factor to your success. So you can't say, oh, I don't even know where to start. No, once you follow this, what we are saying here, you will know where to start. So that is it. So what I'm saying in essence is that you know that it is report writing. So the first thing is to identify that, okay, this report is a formal report or informal report. Then after that, if it is a formal report, you know the next thing is to what? Write your cover page. After your cover page, you write your executive summary, you move to your main report, and you go on like that. So that is what this point number 4 is saying. If you don't know one aspect, don't panic. Go to the aspect that you are sure of. That is it. That is what this point is saying. If you don't know one aspect of the case study, do not panic. Go to the one that you know and leave space. When I say go to the one, don't bring requirement number 2 that's supposed to be towards the tail end. You are bringing it forward. You have changed the order. Your report must be sequential. Those are part of things they are marking at the this is a professional level. It's not foundation. It's not skill level. They are marking the articulation of your report. They are marking the organization, how you arrange your points. Those are the things they look. This is a professional level, because after this level, you will be qualified and you will be inducted as a chartered accountant. It means that you can go and represent your company. So that is why they are not taking it lightly at this level. It's a professional level. So that is that. I will not waste much time. I will move on. Number 5. This number 5 says make sure that you conclude and round off your work at least 10 minutes before scheduled time, so that you can cross-check your work properly. Yes, I always say this. Don't write into the last minutes of the end of the paper. Leave time to cross-check your work. leave time to that. Maybe there was sometimes you may be writing something and you lost a thought of that thing you are writing, then leave it. But that thing you leave to go to quick, because maybe I don't know if I'm the only one. When I'm writing, I might just remember there is something I'm supposed to write. I'll quickly go and write it as well and come back to what I'm writing. That is, as I'm writing, I'm thinking holistically the end of the report. So let me give an example. Let's assume that you have started your executive summary. When you are now writing your main report, you are doing your calculation, you just remember something you need to write. You quickly go back to your executive summary where you have left space at the beginning. You quickly go and fill it up with what you want to write. That point, you quickly go and write it. Because sometimes if you don't write it down, that point will escape you. And if it escapes you, you may start looking for it, and it may even destabilize you, because you need that point to conclude or to round up a particular point. It usually happens to me when I'm writing exam and I just remember something. I'll quickly go and write it. I'll come back to this one. So that's what I'm saying. Don't write to the last minute. Leave some time. There will be some time, and let's say the question is for paper, and we're going to look at the timing we have scheduled. You should know that when I'm writing requirement 1, this is when to stop. It doesn't matter, because sometimes you just say calculation question, you love it, you know it very well, you have solved it over and over, you just go into it, and before you know it, you will not time yourself, and the exam is timed. It's not open indefinitely. You have to know that, once I spend 60 minutes on requirement 1, I need to leave it and move to requirement 2, because the exam is a game of time. It's a game of time. If you spend your whole time doing calculation of ratio and you did not write the report, that person will still fail. Because at this level, it's not about computing ratio. Did you interpret the ratio? Did you make a decision from the ratio, from the interpretation? Did you advise the client on what to do, on the decision to make? That is why you should not get carried away and exhaust all your time. If you cannot leave 10 minutes, leave 5 minutes, because you know the time they will ask everybody to stop. It's not an exam that does not have time. You know this time you are starting, you know the time you will stop. So you can actually look at it and say, whatever I'm writing, when it is 3:44 or 3:55, I must stop and come and check my way. And some people, maybe, normally at this exam, you are supposed to write your examination number on all your paper. Let's assume you collected extra sheets and you have forgotten that you have not written your examination number on that extra sheet and you submitted it. How would they be able to know that it's your paper? And the reason is that you did not leave time to check your answers. So you might just be carried away because you are in a hurry. You don't want to lose the point. You are writing. You have forgotten that you have not written your examination number, and all of your paper, both front and back, must carry your examination number, because that is what the examiner will use to identify you that you are the owner of that answer script when they are collating the paper. Let's assume there is no stapler, there is no rope to tie it together. But if it carries your examination number, even if it drops on the floor, they can easily locate it and say, oh, is this person that owns it, because the paper carry a unique number that cannot be mistaken with another person. That is the point we are making here, and that is why it's very important to leave 5 minutes to cross-check your paper, your answer script, to be sure that you have done everything you are supposed to do. Where you are supposed to write your exam number, you have written your exam number on it. Where you are supposed to cross your T, dot your I, you have done all of that, because that alone could make a difference. I will move to the next point. Next point talks about time allocation. This exam is a 4-hour paper. If you convert 4 hours to minutes, it will give you 240 minutes. It means that, some people, I've written this exam, and some people, because they have read pilot question or Pathfinder, all of a sudden they will come into the exam or they will start writing. And you will be wondering, what are you writing? You have not even taken time to read the question and understand it. Some people will believe that, because I have read the pre-scene, So therefore, as I come in, I already know what to ask. That's why I normally tell my students, I will not prepare any solution for you. Some people will say, sir, prepare the solution and give us money. So if I now give you, what do you now? So if I now give you the solution, what do you want to do? You want to go and, because that's why I don't prepare solution. I will only give you a guide. I will not prepare solution for anybody. I will only say, this is the guide. You want to do this, this is the guide, this is the guide. Some people want to prepare solution. You know, you remember that time when you wrote GCE and NECO. Some people will come into the exam with prepared solution. Even during that time when they will say, oh, write essay, write this, they already have solution. They will come in. Yes, professional exam, you cannot come in with prepared paper, but some people, they can cram it. That is why they will get into the exam. They will not bother to read the question. They will just start writing. What are you writing? So what am I saying in essence? There is time allocation for the exam. Reading and planning your answer is 60 minutes. Complete 1 hour. The fact that you have not started writing does not mean you don't know what to write. You are planning yourself. So we said that leave 30 minutes, start with 30 minutes to go through the question, overall of the question, look at it. What will I write first? What is the first calculation I need to do? What is the second calculation I need to write? You know, plan yourself. Then you use another 15 minutes to look at requirement number 1. You look at 15 minutes to dissect requirement number 2. So 15 plus 15 plus 30, it will give you 60 minutes. After you have spent 60 minutes analyzing everything the way you will write it, you will do your calculation. Calculation for requirement 1, 30 minutes. Calculation for requirement 2, 30 minutes, making another 60 minutes. You will now spend 110 minutes to write the report. Look at it, oh. You have already done your calculation. Normally, when you start writing your report, you are supposed to be making, because when you are writing your report, for example, hypothetically, you are going to say, oh, revenue increased by 60%, comparing the result in 2024 with the result of 2023. Revenue increased by 60% as a result of, let's say, their sales increase or something. But that 60%, you are making reference to the calculation you have done in one of your workings. That is why your workings must have come. Not that you just come, you are just writing. Plan yourself what you want to write. Because it's like somebody that want to cut a tree. They give them 30 minutes or 1 hour to cut a tree. One person gets there, he just take the cutlass, he just started cutting. Another person get there, he first use half of the 30 minutes to sharpen the cutlass, to sharpen it, to make it that the cutlass, all the edges is sharp, is sharpened, is ready to cut. Who do you think, let me ask, I want response at this junction. Who do you think will first finish cutting the wood? Is it the person that
The
just
one that sharpened the cutlass?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But the cutlass will be sharp enough to cut the as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that wonderful response. You understand? It's the person that sharpened the cutlass that will finish first. So you don't let anybody disregard. Some people, they will just intimidating others. They will enter the exam hall, 20 minutes, they have started writing. What are you writing? First of all, digest the question, understand the direction of the question, understand the requirement of the question before you start writing. That is why some people, they will have spent 1 hour writing. They will not discover that they are writing rubbish. They will now cancel it. They will now say extra sheet. Some people will now be looking at them and say, Iwe, book. They don't know that they have already made mistake. That's why they are collecting extra sheet. It's not as if they are writing, because So that is the way it works. So you need to sharpen. Sharpen means plan yourself. And if you look at this table on the screen, it tells you when you should stop for requirement 1, when you should stop. When you are doing calculation, once you spend more than 30 minutes, stop it. Because it is not how far, it is not how many calculation you do, it is your ability to interpret the calculation. I have seen people that qualify that say, I did not even finish all the calculation. Yes, they are not looking for all the people that will finish the calculation and will not write the report. And that is why when we are teaching, we taught you different ways. You can do data analysis, you can do financial statement analysis. Because when you are doing your data analysis, you can analyze the financial statement without doing any calculation and begin to bring out salient facts of issues that are wrong with the financials. You can bring it out and you can compare it year by year. But when you spend the whole time doing calculation, imagine somebody spent 2 hours doing calculation. You cannot possibly write very well. And the main requirement is to draw up a report. So please, this time allocation is being suggested for those who will follow it. And you see that we said 10 minutes to proofread and make correction. There is nobody that is perfect. Sometimes you want to write if you have written another thing unconsciously. It is the time that you left to go through what you have written. You read it again. At this level, grammatical blunder, there are certain grammatical blunder that are unpardonable. Maybe you want to write day, you now write day is. You write day, you now write is. They will not help you see it as a mistake. They will circle it. Maybe you want to write e, you write iwa. Some people, they will just write because they did not leave time to go through what they have written. Even in the office, if you write a letter and you don't leave a time to go through it, you may have written blunders and you will just send it out. Like somebody that want to write an email to a boss in the office, you want to write dear ma. Instead of dear ma, he writes dear mad woman. That thing is changed to dear mad ma. So because he did not check, he just send it to the boss. That one just cause, are you mad? Is it me you are calling that I'm mad? Meanwhile, that was not his intention, but because she did not read the email again, she just sent it. She sent error. So please, it's very important that we give time to read what you have written before you submit your answer script. It can make the whole of the difference. It can make the whole of the difference. Don't be carried away and not checking what you have written, because certain error will have been corrected by you before you submit. When you submit, it is whatever you have written that determines your faith and maybe grace of God. But largely what you have written down is what will determine your faith. So we're going to move on from that point. Let's look at common mistakes. Common mistake to be avoided in case study exam. Number 1, not having a good understanding of the primary requirements and how to tackle it. This boils down to what you are saying. Jumping into the question and not having good understanding. A question is not asking you to compute SWOT analysis. You jump like a puma. You want to go and start computing ratio analysis. So that is important. These are common mistakes that make people to fail exam. So please, let's guide against it. Not having good understanding of the primary requirement. That is to say, after you have read the question, even the pre-scene that you have seen, when you get to the exam, read the pre-scene again. In case they have added anything, in case they have changed something there, make sure you read it again to be sure that nothing has changed from the one you have seen before. You now read it together with the unseen part. that unseen, they will now provide additional information to you. Make sure you carefully read it, because the moment you understand what you are required to do, you are already 50% to the success of the exam. Because, and it talks about primary requirement. What are the primary requirements? Requirement 1, requirement 2. Like I said, requirement 1 is going to tell you under Exhibit 1, write executive summary. It is compulsory. It's not a suggestion. It is compulsory. It's not a suggestion. It's not optional. So if you don't pay attention to the primary requirement, that person will likely come back for the exam. Number 2, avoid time wasted calculation of financial ratio that are not required in answering case study question. Please, there are exams that they will tell you specifically compute profitability ratio. Even they will not just even say, they will just say compute ROAS, return on capital employed, compute liquidity ratio, liquidity ratio, maybe current assets. They will give you specific ratio that you should compute. And like I said, one of the easiest way to know the ratio you compute are based on the information provided. All of this, we'll deal with it when we are treating the precinct aspects. But pay attention. Don't go and be computing. Some questions do not require you to compute gearing ratio. You are computing gearing ratio for who? You are proving to know. You are proving to know. During my days, we normally call people like that. Over to know, over sabi, syllabus. That is what we normally call ourselves that time. If they give us question in the exam, I will see something, textbook, syllabus, pele. We normally say like that, jokingly to ourselves that over syllabus. You are the one that is, some people, they will give them, they say attempt. I remember in one of my level that I wrote in Ican, we came out and one guy said, I attempted all the 7 questions because I know everything now. I let the examiner choose. I said, no, they say we should attempt 5. No, let them choose 5 out of the 7. I want somebody to tell me, what do you think will happen to such a person? They say attempt 5. He attempt the whole 7. He said they should choose 5 that they like, that he passed very well. What do you think will happen to the person? I need your response. What do you think will happen to the person? He said he left it that the examiner should choose 5 out of the 7 he wrote.
That's automatic failure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's automatic failure. You didn't follow instruction. Because you know everything does not mean you should attempt everything. Just attempt 5 you know best. Simple. And leave it. Thank you very much. So let's continue. So let's not waste time on calculation of ratio. Points, not properly referencing and explain your calculation in appendix. Please, this is very important. This point 2B, not properly referencing and explaining all your calculation. I believe many of us will have seen audited financial statements. Can you confirm to me? We have seen audited financial statement. How many people you have seen an audited financial statement?
Yes.
I want your confirmation. You have seen. Good. Do you see the way the notes to the account? Do you see the way it's arranged in the audited financial? Do you know that if you want to know any figure, once you go to the notes, you will be able to understand how that figure comes about? That is the same. That's the same way this reference is very important. Please pay attention. Different questions I've read, different past questions, reason why students fail. I have seen this same area repeating itself. Inability to reference how you got your answer. Inability to reference how you got your answer. Your reference, it is extremely important that you reference your workings. If you look at your paper, do you see how all the appendices, exhibits, the exhibit, if they give you 12 exhibits, do you see how they will reference all the exhibits? Exhibit 1, exhibit 2. When you are reading the question, you see how they make reference that, in so as it is in exhibit 1. Do you see how they orderly reference the exhibit in all your? That is the same way they expect you to reference your appendix. Don't just write and the work is not articulated. You are not, no. This is a professional level. I normally tell my students, it's not NECO exam and it's not WAEC. It's professional exam. You must properly reference your work. I will leave it at that point. Next thing, say failure to prepare a good executive summary. I have said this. Anybody that fail to write executive summary, the person is coming back. It doesn't matter what you write. Why? Executive summary is an integral part. It is an integral requirement of the exam. And it's not optional. It is compulsory. That is why we took time on how to write a good executive summary. There is a template you need to follow. There is something you must write first. There is something that we follow after. We took time to explain it. That is why. Next one, number 4, inadequate understanding and interpretation of financial analysis using ratio trend analysis showing changes in absolute and percentage. So what I'm saying that some people they will just do the calculation and not interpret. Why? Time is no longer on their side. That is another reason why. That's another reason why students fail when they don't interpret their financial ratio or trend analysis. And when you are interpreting, do it both in absolute figure and in percentage. Number 5, wrong notion of conducting SWOT analysis or pestle analysis in every question. It's not every question that will ask you to construct a SWOT or pestle analysis. It is only use it where you are required, not minding the primary requirements of the case study. These are some of the reasons why students fail case study. Number 6, incorrect use of tenses. I have just mentioned that. Appropriate words, tenses, content, wider context, expression of professional skepticism on the figure presented, ethical issue reflected in the case, inclusion of appropriate disclaimer. If the report you are writing is a formal report, it must carry a disclaimer. You must not forget that is part of the cover page. That is the last statement you will write when you are writing your cover page. And I said that on the page where you write your cover page, you don't write any other thing. The last thing on that page is your disclaimer. And we have shown a practical example in our last lesson when we treated report writing. I displayed a practical how it looks like. So I will not waste much time on that so that we can save time. Reporting structure, use of appropriate heading, appropriate use of paragraph. You know, we have 2 types of paragraph, index paragraph and block paragraph. Don't start with index and you get into the middle, you are using block paragraph. No, be consistent. You remember the consistency concept in accounting. Because if you have chosen to use index paragraph, stick with it. If you have chosen to use block paragraph, stick with it. But which one do I recommend? Anyone that you are okay with can use. Correct spelling. Correct spelling. Very important. Use of suitable formal language. Don't go and be using. Imagine somebody writing in the exam, say, so Paul, you just write Paul. You know, there are certain language that are not allowed in formal language, in a formal setting. So that's example. Use appropriate heading. The heading will have been given in the question. Just coin your heading from what is given in the question. No need to stress yourself. Number 8, inability to ascertain suitable model for the type of business analysis required. That is why when we are one of the things that we normally do when we are treating pre-scene, we normally suggest different kind of model. I would have looked at the question. I would say, based on this question, no, this question is likely that I will tell you the reason. Like what we did last night, we looked at him, say this topic here because of this. You can use Michael 5 Porter's model to analyze it. You can use Asnoff model to analyze it. You can use this to analyze it. You know, different thing like that. So it is very important. And the truth is that if somebody has asked me a question, sir, what if I don't know a particular model to use? Answer the question the way you understand it. It is better than not writing anything. Sometimes it's not impossible that hey, they brought a model I don't know. Most likely the model, you will have an idea. And that's why when we are treating model, we said that when you see this is the model is pointing to that you should use. When they say you should do this is the model that you can use to answer this question. So we have treated that in our previous classes, and I believe there shouldn't be anyone per se to still have issues with identifying a suitable model to use to analyze your case study, depending on the area they bring. Okay, let's continue to save time. Inability to make a practicable, commercially viable recommendation. I like this number 9. One of the things, and I'm going to say it again, one of the things they are testing, you can, in fact, you can go to syllabus and go and check what I'm saying.
Sorry, can I ask a question before you proceed? So I don't forget.
Okay. Okay, please go ahead.
In planning, when you mentioned, you said planning, you must plan. When in planning, what you meant, is it as in saying, in fact, what do you mean by planning one's work? Sorry to take you back.
Okay, let me use this example. It's like I want to go and do presentation, or I have a presentation in the office. Before I get to where I will make presentation, I have mentally prepared what I'm going to say. Do you get it? So planning I'm referring to in the exam is reading the question, and as you are reading it, your mind is already planning that, okay, based on this requirement and what I have read, this is the thing. You have not started, just like you want to build a house. There is a prototype of the house. So there is always a planning in your mind, because you know it's your mind you are using to write. So as your planning cut across, you have read the question, you understood the question. So you are planning the order. You know that, okay, based on this requirement, I need to compute this, I need to write this, I need to write this. So your planning I'm referring to is the arrangement of what you are going to do. Arrangement of what you are going to do, so that you will not go and bring Z before A. A is supposed to be A, B, C, D, not to bring C before A. I don't know whether you get my point. Hello?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Okay, so the planning I'm referring to is the getting, and you know you cannot write on your question paper, but you are free to write on your answer script. So what I will recommend, you go with pencil. You take your answer script. I'm using pencil to highlight as I'm reading the question, the order of what I'm going to do. I'm using pencil to note it down in my answer script, because in the exam you are not allowed to write on your question paper because of the malpractices. You know, when people write on question paper, they will now pass their question paper to another person. So they say every writing is part of the requirement of all writing must be on your answer script. They know that it's not possible you pass your answer script to somebody. So write inside your answer script. So your planning, I will take pencil to start giving the, okay, I need to do this, I need to do, so that I will not forget as it's coming, because as you are reading, just like as you are reading the question, the solution will start coming to your mind. You know, because you are prepared for the exam. So you are already expecting certain things that they will bring it. So they will probably bring those things. So as you are reading it, you are noting it down. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, something like that. Just use your pencil to to pen down the way, the order you want to answer, things that you want to do. You need to do this calculation. Just use pencil to write it down. So you now be looking at it to now start writing when you begin writing. But all those pencils that is to, while you are trying to read and understand the question, solution will start coming to your mind. You need to pin it down so that at least you can now, even after you can now rearrange it. Okay, let me do this one first. Let me do this one first. So that is planning. That's the planning I mean. So let me go back to the number
sir.
9. I was trying. What do you say?
I said thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome.
Sir, you are muted though. We can't hear you. You are muted.
Okay, sorry. So I was trying to explain this number now. Inability to make a practicable and commercially viable recommendation. So what this means that one of the competence under case study, one of the competence is your ability to make a practicable and commercially viable recommendation. This is one of the competent ability to make a sound professional judgment. This is one of the competence under this case study, under this exam. So what it means is that you must recommend, when you are making recommendation, make a recommendation that is practicable. Some people will make a recommendation that is not practicable. You know, just like when they say when you are setting objective, you must set smart objective. Smart objective. So the same way when you are making a recommendation, make a recommendation that is achievable, that is attainable, that is achievable. 2, make a commercially viable, company that, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say they say, oh, this is a small company, they just enter oil and gas business, and you are now making recommendation. They told you their turnover, say, let's say their turnover is still, let's say 50 million. Let's even say 100 million. You are now making recommendation that they should look at how to build refinery. Hello. You are not looking at their share capital. You are not looking at the financial they gave you. That even with the strength of this company, do they have capacity to build the refinery? That even if we collapse everything within the company, can they build refinery? So when you are making a recommendation that they should go and build refinery, as if refinery is like it's 2 naira 50 kobo. It means that recommendation is not practicable. It's not commercially viable for them. Looking at their financials, that's what we mean. That whatever recommendation, it must be a recommendation that they can actually achieve. That is what we mean. Let me quickly move to the next one. This next one talks about the format for the report. Tips on writing executive summary. Like I said, we always do this to guide people. There is a tips because executive summary is compulsory. Now, what's the format? The first thing is that there must be subject matter or purpose of the report. Next thing is method of analysis. Your method analysis shows the method you are using to analyze your data. Summary of key findings, ethical issues and consideration, conclusions of the summary of the solution and recommendation. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because in one of our classes we have explained all of this in detail with example. Main report, it has a template. You have your outline. What does your outline do? Your outline help you to say this is, it's just like you are doing a presentation and you have table of content. Your table of content shows that, okay, this is what will come first, this is what will come next. Even if you look at your question, the exhibit, they normally arrange it. Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2, the content, Exhibit 3, the content of it. They will state it. That is why you need your outline. Look at it. Your outline comes before your cover page. Once you start writing, don't allow anything, because this template is according to the template given in the study pack and in the syllabus. In the study pack, I already told you, this is it. This is the pattern to follow. You cannot come and coin your own format and do it in different way. That person may lose mark. So outline the outline of the report, cover page. Under your cover page, you must have your disclosure there. Immediately after your cover page, you have your executive summary. Immediately after executive summary, brief introduction to the main report, body of the report, that is requirement 1, key findings, observation, ethical issues, conclusion, recommendation. Now, because requirement number 1 is always different from requirement number 2, that is why the conclusion and recommendation for requirement 1 must be written separately from that of requirement 2. So you jump, after you write this, you jump to detail of analysis of requirement 2, key findings and observation, conclusion, recommendation, and appendix. That is the format. Okay, here we gave an example that your cover page, your title page, this is the format. You start with the managing director of so and company, you write it. You write the report based on, you write the subject of the report, prepared by. These people normally ask questions. Under the prepared by, who should I write that he prepared the report? Now, if they have written you that your boss sent you an email to write a report, it's your boss. Remember that this report is going out to your client. You don't have to put your name. It's your boss, because they told you that your boss, Mr. Saidu Dauda, is the partner in charge. When you are writing a report for a client, it's the partner name they want to see. It's the partner name. Just like in my office now. Your guy can ask you, go and write a report and put my, you understand? So it's the partner name, it's the name of the person they want to see, not your name. It is in the email, you now put your name. Then, this page shows, next one shows the date, 25th of May, 2025, just the date. Some people have asked me, which date will I use? Use the date of the exam. You may be fortunate that in the exhibit, the letter that your boss wrote to you, it will carry a date. So, and normally, when your boss wrote you on 25th of May, you are not expected that you are writing the same person the second day. Just use the same date to save yourself stress. Just use the same date. Let's assume it does not have date. Use the date you are writing the exam. Let's assume you are writing it on the 22nd of May. Write 22nd of May, because this direct exam is going to start on 20th, 21, and 22 of May. Case study will be the last day, which is probably Thursday, on the 22nd of May. Use the date of that day as your date you are replying. Simple. They just want to see that your report is dated. Nobody actually care whether you use a particular date, really. Just ensure that your report is dated. There is a date in your report. We put the example of a disclaimer here. This report is prepared for management of XYZ Limited, and it is intended for their use only. We therefore accept no liability from third party who may rely on the content without due authorization. That's it. After that, page 2, executive summary. Immediately after that, introduction, and it goes on and on like that. Next, we look at the matters. Next, we look at the matters that constitute ethical issues. This one will always be given to you. These are issues. Some people say, sir, how will I know that there are ethical issues? These are the things. Once you see something that relates to this, I'm not going to waste time, because there is a full class where we treated this thing one by one things that you will see under each heading here that will let you know that this thing is ethical issue. And when we talk about ethical issue, it doesn't mean they are doing something wrong. It may be something they are doing right that is an ethical matter. So it may be that they are submitting their report on time. It may be that they are submitting report to the right regulatory authority in the industry. So it doesn't necessarily mean they are doing something wrong when we talk about ethical issue or ethical consideration. Then, lack of professional independence or objectivity, they are pointer to ethical issue. Conflict of interest among stakeholders, they are pointer to ethical issue. Doubtful accounting or creative accounting practice, like window dressing, first jiving balance, they are ethical issue, point to ethical issue. And don't forget, they say that this scope is going to be expanded in the new syllabus. They will be treating more ethical issue. That was why I showed you that thing I showed you when we started. So on ethical business and commercial practice. And you know why? If you look at some of the institutions that collapsed, Heritage Bank and other institutions that have collapsed in Nigeria, the beginning is when they are flouting ethical issue, where they are going against ethical issue, when they are consistently doing things that are unethical. Giving loan to people that do not qualify for the loan. Approving payments without necessary due diligence and all of that. There are things that are violating ethical issues, ethical matter that will eventually result. It's just like when a young guy or a young lady at the teenage age started sleeping out, ethical issue. They're supposed to sleep at home, you are sleeping outside. I'm sleeping in my friend's house today. I'm sleeping in my friend's house. Ethical issues, things that are not right. Unethical business and commercial practice, inappropriate pressure to achieve a reported result. These are pointers to ethical issues. These are pointers to ethical issues. Now, we're rounding up. I put this, and we have also in detail dealt with all these issues. So I'm not going to waste too much time on it because of other things I quickly want to discuss with us. Now, this aspect, okay, let me pause. I think I've been talking. Let me first of all take question at this junction. Okay, let me take question before I move on. Let me take question. Do we have questions? Anybody that wants to seek clarification to things we have said before I continue? Question? Let me just take one or two questions. Question? Anybody question? Okay, good. There is no question. Good, let me continue. Thank you. So let's continue. That will save us time. No question. Please write down your question. If you have question, you can still ask us. So basically this thing I showed is showing, I copied this from one of the past questions where, students were asked to analyze the financial, carry out a financial statement analysis of BP Fashion Limited, and I brought this. I think I've explained, this was one of the, this was explained in one of the classes we did, how under use of data and information, things that students, candidates are expected to do, use of information in the exhibit to calculate key financial ratios, use information is exhibit 7. These are exhibit given in this particular question I copied from, and it states that, like for example, we say use information in exhibit 7 to carry out a benchmark, to benchmark best, I think best fashion, BP fashion, key financial ratio with those of the competitor. Now, in this question, the performance of the competitors were given. And you were now asked, candidates were asked to carry out a key financial ratio based on the key financial ratio of the competitors that were given in the question. That was what happened. And this was explaining how to use data and information provided in the question to attempt the question. Use information in exhibit 11 to discuss issues raised on IS2. This was when IS2 was set on inventory. Use of information on exhibit 12 to evaluate and discuss BP fashion inventory of obsolescence and allowance for 2020. Next one talks about use of professional tools and knowledge, that is show revenue growth. After showing revenue growth, show growth in EBITDA, that is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization, that is EBITDA. Now, calculate revenue growth. Calculate EBITDA over revenue ratio. This is just showing that these are some of the things under use of appropriate data, tools or information to get where you are going. So it starts with, you have to calculate revenue growth, comparing the revenue from one year to another to know the growth in revenue. You need to check the growth in EBITDA. You see, after revenue, check the profit. That is profit before interest and tax, depreciation and amortization. Check it. Look at calculate growth, revenue growth. Do ratio of profit before tax all over revenue. Trading density, inventory turnover, receivable days, payable days, return on equity, that is ROI. Return on equity, that is ROI, profit after tax. And when you are calculating profit after tax, you use it all over shareholders fund. That is what this is explaining. Use of analytical skills, determine trends in BP fashion revenue and all of that. If you have these questions, and what this area is showing the segment of what students need to do, where you need to carry out analytical risk. And when we say carry out analytical skill or analytical explanation or calculation on something, what we mean, what you need to do under each of that category. As I just copied this to explain that he's saying that, okay, in determining the trend, calculate trends in what? In revenue. Because yes, most likely you might be asked to calculate trend analysis when they say carry out an analysis to determine the financial performance of the client's business. So you need to calculate trend in revenue, determine trend in gross margin. Another important area, gross margin. Look at receivable days, trade receivable days, and when the moment you are calculating trade receivable days, you are already talking about efficiency. You are looking at the efficiency ratio. EBITDA talks about trend in the EBITDA, trends in the payable days, trends in EBITDA ratio versus EBITDA over revenue ratio. You say calculate the trend between 1 year and another, and it goes on like that. This aspect talks about application of professional skepticism and ethics. What should you do? Recognize that BP fashion or your client is keeping a large idle cash. Look at it. Keeping a large idle cash that could have been invested on short-term basis. That's ethical. He said, recognize that BP fashion may no, the inventory obsolescence allowance to manage the earnings. So it's possible that the BP fashion are using that obsolescence allowance. It's like making allowance for bad debts, you know, making provision for tendency of cash loss or potential cash loss. They are saying that this has to do with inventory, and that obsolescence that was discovered in inventory, it could have been used to manage their earnings. It can be used to manage their earnings, and that's an ethical issue. I want to ask a question. This particular point, I want to ask a question. This particular point, recognize that BP fashion may be using inventory obsolescence allowance to manage their earnings. Under this, I want you to tell me, where does this point, where does it fall? Where does it fall? I want somebody to please tell me. Under this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where does it fall? That point, where does it fall? Under this 3, who can tell us?
Creative accounting practice.
Thank you very much. Creative accounting practice. And it can also fall in a, okay, it cannot even fall under pressure, but it could be as a result of pressure from, because at times it could be based on the question. It could be that somebody is giving him pressure that, you must not make loss, you must not report loss. But you are right. It falls under creative accounting practice to achieve a desired result, which is, that was an ethical issue. Okay. So thank you very much for that. So you look at, recognize that although BP fashion says it sells on cash basis, but trade receivable is gradually increasing. If you say you sell on cash basis, except you sell, because receivable comes into place if you sell on credit. They are now saying that they claim that they are selling on cash basis, yet trade receivable is increasing. You cannot say you are selling on cash basis. Your receivable should be going down if you are selling on cash basis. That is, you are even collect the one you have sold on credit out. And if you are selling, if you have stopped selling on credit, you are selling on cash basis, then your receivable, as they are falling due, it should be coming down. It should not be increasing. That looks like it contradicts. It contradicts. That looks contradictory. It looks contradictory. Now, recognize that BP fashion needs to manage its relationship with supplier as trade and other payable days is increasing. You know, so that is that. The next one talks about evaluation skill and judgment. Recognize that companies' EBITDA growth has reduced. Now, look at it. Here is where we are making evaluative judgment based on the conclusion. That's why there's always a conclusion and recommendation. They will say first, based on what you have read, look at it, key findings and observation. That key findings and observation, they say draw a conclusion. What's your conclusion based on this information? Now you have drawn a conclusion, use it to make a recommendation. So if you have drawn a conclusion that, oh, there's something this person they are not doing right, what's your recommendation? What's your decision? What are you saying to me? Because don't just identify a problem, profile a solution. What do you think is the way out of this problem? Don't just identify the problem, profile a solution. How do we come out? This is what I think management should put in place in order to resolve this problem. That is where an accountant talk. That is where a professional talk. They recommend, this is the way I think should be the way out. So, and that is what they are doing under this last aspect. It's showing that companies' EBITDA growth has reduced from 20% in 2019 to 15%. Recognize return on equity has dropped. So it's telling them now that these are the things that students should ordinarily have said, that, oh, recognize that return on equity has dropped from 46.7% in 2018 to 40 in 2020 from 2018 to 2020, you know. But we're still going to get there, shall you see? Recognize, just Things that should be recognized: gross margin almost the same but gradually reducing. Recognize efficiency ratios are stable. Recognize that efficiency ratio, I mentioned efficiency. This is the conclusion. While you are doing the say, conclude that BP needs to watch its cost of sales. You remember that, look at it though, we did revenue analysis. You computed growth in revenue. When we left growth, you know the difference between, and that was why the next thing we move to is EBITDA. Because you know that, so, and from there, he said, conclude that the BP fashion needs to watch its cost of sales as gross profit is gradually reducing. What they need to do now, conclusion, conclude that BP EBITDA is increasing in value, but rate of increase is dropping, which means that operating cost is going up. These are the things that trend analysis will show you. From the trend analysis, you will see all of these things we are pointing out. It's not difficult to identify. Conclude that BP operating cost is increasing from year to year. Conclude on the treatment of the three. Conclude on the treatment of the three IAS, sorry, pardon me, IAS2 issue. There are three IAS2 issues that was pointed out in this question, identified by BP, finance director, you know. So they say you have to conclude the treatment of how those three issues that were identified relating to IAS2 on inventory, how it should be treated. Conclude on further inventory reports to be demanded for information system manager to evaluate the inventory obsolescence allowance in 2020. Conclude on the adequacy of the inventory obsolescence allowance in 2020. Recommendation: BP fashion needs to control its cost of sales, to step down, to step the downward tide of the gross profit margin. You know, and it goes on like that. And the last one say, recommend that the company should explore possibility of reducing its inventory holding. You remember EOQ that we do, EOQ. So inventory holding, they need to watch it. Recommend that inventory obsolescence allowance is adequate with justification. So looking at this question, these are some of the things, and we can replicate how this question is being answered, replicate it on, look at another question and see this is how, and look at it under it, they say commercial and relevant, commercial and relevant. So when you are making your recommendation, you focus on the relevant area on fixed assets, PPE, relevant area on inventory, relevant area on inventory, relevant area on revenue, profitability, liquidity of the business. You are looking at those areas so that you can take a decision. So I'm going to stop here for this particular one. I'll just take the last aspect now. I'm going to skip all of this. I'm going to skip all of this. I'm going to skip all of this. More or less the same thing have happened. This is analysis of the second aspect of it, discussing the risk associated with project fee. I will skip all of this. Yes, conclusion, what they need to do. Conclude on MPV project fit is positive. Calculate the viability of the project fit, you know, and it goes on like that. I know many of us already have copy of this solution to this question. I just brought it for us to go through it like this to see how, when you are relating under each categories. That is why you see down this thing, it takes planning to say, okay, under my conclusion, this is what I'm saying. This is what I should say under conclusion. These are the points. It takes planning, because when you want to start writing, if you don't articulate what you want to write, in the middle, one can lose what to write. You may lose what once you, before you start, you have articulated all the things you want to write, then maybe I don't know whether it's peculiar to me. If I want to write a letter in the office, I'll first of all pen down the points I want to make a point. May say I want to respond to an email or a query. I will pen down the key points I want to talk about. I will now start talking about them point by point. That is why what I'm writing is going to be orderly, not that one is jumping, what you are supposed to say at the beginning is coming at the end and all of that. No. So that is why that articulation is very, very important. So, so when the pre-scene for 2025, May, let me change this. This is May. So when the pre-scene for May is out, then we'll take it up from there, and that will be the last class I will be having with you guys. So, but just before we close, let me quickly.
Sir, please, I want to ask something.
Okay, quickly ask your question.
Like these conclusions, recommendations that you just showed us as a sample of what could be done. Is it out of place? This same thing, the way you have it in your main body, that's the way you have it in bulletproof like this. You also put it the same way in your executive summary. That's to say, what you have in your main body is still the same thing you have in your executive summary. Is there a problem with it? Is it doable?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
I said, since there will be no time for you to think long grammar in the main body.
Yes. Okay.
These same bullet points now that we just saw now, can we just write the same thing both in the main body and the same thing in the executive summary?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me quickly say this. Both in the executive summary and in the main report, especially under your conclusion and recommendation, make it a bullet point. Especially when you now come to executive summary, it has to be a bullet point. Any attempt to start explaining too much, don't forget, we said that executive summary should not be more than a page and a half or maximum of 2 pages. Maximum. Let's assume that you have big handwriting. The reason is that if you don't try to control yourself to, it's executive summary. You remember when we were in secondary school, when they will say write summary, they may give you a page or 2 pages. They will say summarize it in 5 sentences. That is the way summary works. Everything, they may say summarize it in 2 pages or in 2 sentences, not even 2 sentences, or sometimes 3 sentences or 5 sentences. That is the way executive summary is. Executive summary is saying that everything, summarize it within half a page or 1 page. So the reason what will make it to be a full page is other thing that you need to write that will make it take almost a page or maximum of 1.5 pages, because you are not expected to write too much story. Read the question and bring out the key points and put it under the executive summary. That is what you want to see. And that is that number 1. It's like they gave you a page, they say, summarize it in 5 pages and in 5 sentences or in 7 sentences. That is it. Let me give room to other people. Olawale, I can see you are raising your hand. Quickly ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello, sir. Okay. I want to ask.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. When you start displaying your screen, the first thing I saw, you gave us executive summary. Then after executive summary, you now give us the main reports. Now from the main reports, now we are going to write the cover page. After the cover page, the executive summary. Now I want to ask, are we going to write executive summary separately, and then in the main reports, we will now still write executive summary? Or the first screen you display that highlighted what we're to write in executive summary, is it that you are showing us how the executive summary will look like in the main report? Or
yes, this place was to show what will be the content of the executive summary. The executive
In the
summary
main
is,
reports.
yes, in the main report, yes.
Hmm.
I just put to explain the content of the executive summary, the key primary content of the executive summary. So that is it. But this is the order of the
All
report.
right. The second question. Yes, sir. The second question. You said that there are going to be 2 requirements. You see that we are going to write reports for the first requirement, reports for the second requirement, or we are writing one report, and in that one report we are including the both requirements in the single report we are writing.
You are writing one report. You are writing one report
Okay.
and include the 2 requirements,
Okay.
just like the way I demonstrated it here. So you start with the introduction, you go to the body of requirements 1, you state your key finding and conclusion, ethical issue. Then when you do that conclusion, then you now go to the second, so you will not write introduction twice. It's still part of the report.
Twice.
Write detail of you don't need to do introduction twice. Just one is okay.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Olajumoke, I can see your hands up.
Yes, sir.
Olajumoke Akindele, please.
Yes, sir. Please, I want to ask. The conclusion and recommendation that we're going to write in the executive summary, is it going to be the same in the main report?
Come again.
Exactly my question.
The conclusion and recommendation in the executive summary, is it going to be the same in the main report?
Yes, the answer is yes. But it will be detailed in the main report. It will be detailed in the main report. So let me quickly show you something. So if in this place, thank God that I brought. So look at it. Let's assume this place is conclusion. So let's assume this is what I want to write. When I get to my executive summary, instead of stating this thing one by one, let's say there are 6 points. I can collapse. Yes, there are actually 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6th one. You don't need to state them like this. I can collapse this one. This one, I can use one statement to write, oh, the company needs to watch their cost of sales. At the same time, need to increase, increase value, increase the rate. As in, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I can collapse this. I can write it in one statement instead of, stating it separately like this. So what you are going to write, don't forget, executive summary is the summary of all the points in the main report. Just make it a bullet point. Where you will say in the main report, you will separate it. For example, you say, oh, they need to increase sales, explain by, maybe you say they need to increase sales by increasing the number of units they sell in Abuja. When you get the executive summary, they just need to increase sales, do this, put it together as one point, because you are mindful that you don't want to do repetition of what you are going to write in the main report, and you don't want to do repetition of it in the executive summary. Let me tell you the secret here. This thing I'm saying, the best way is that you have finished the main report. You have already written the points in the main report. You will now quickly go back to your executive summary and go and summarize those points you have detailed in the main report. Go and detail it under executive summary. So under executive summary, you will need to leave the space, because at the point when you are going to be start executive summary, you may not have all of the points together in your fingertips. So, but when you finish your main report, you can now, and this is the secret, sometimes if you say you want to wait till when you finish everything, there may not be time to go and go back and write. So what I would do is that as I'm writing, I'm putting a point in the executive summary. You know what I would do? I'm going to show example of this. I will work on an example. I will show us when we are doing a precinct. Please remind me when we are doing precinct. I will show a practical example of what I'm saying. But to answer your question, your point that all the points that you have under executive summary, you under all the points that you have in the main report, you need to have it under executive summary, but not in detail, in a summary. In a summary. Let me give a good example. Let's say you have a CV. Do you know that your CV, let's say your CV is 2 pages. Do you know I can use my CV to create what is called a cover page that will summarize my qualification, my experience, and my skills under the cover page, so that if I don't need to send my CV to somebody, I can just simply send my cover page that summarize my profile, my background, it will just summarize it. So I'm going to do a practical example to show us when next we are meeting. Just somebody should please remind me.
Thank you, sir.
Whether you get my point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's why I use that practical example. It's like your cover page of your CV and your CV. Your CV details your qualification, the year you finished, the grade. But in your cover page, you just say, oh, it will just summarize everything. It will just summarize everything. Yes. Okay, Ayo, I can see your answer. Quickly ask your question.
Well done, sir.
Well done.
My question is very simple, sir. In the precinct, we know that the requirement 1 is almost from precinct. But when we get to the exam hall, the unseen, that is requirement 2. My question is that after the cover page, the executive summary, introduction, those one we carry along the precinct and the unseen. But that conclusion and recommendation for requirement 1 and requirement 2, are we going to take it along with the precinct and unseen question? How can we match the two together in the exam, sir?
Wait. I didn't get your question. How can you match what together?
What I'm saying is this.
Yes.
Requirement 1 is almost precinct. But in the conclusion of requirement 1, we are dealing with a precinct and recommendation for it. Is it after that one, we can go to the unseen and answer the unseen, that is requirement 2? That is the conclusion and recommendation for requirement 2.
Okay, sorry. Let me, if I understand your question. The 2 main requirements in the exam, it will come in the unseen. It will come in the unseen. What you need to do, it will come in the unseen. All the thing that will come in the precinct is to give you a pointer, is to give you an idea of what you should be expecting in the unseen. But the main thing you need to do, it will come in the unseen. I don't know if that answers your question. Hello, Ayo. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you do.
Okay, thank you. Gift, quickly ask your question. Gift, I see Gift. She was raising her hand. Okay, let Toga, please ask your question.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Quickly ask your question.
Please, can you give explanation on this outline of report. Please, I didn't get that point.
I should give explanation on what?
Outline of report. Before
Okay,
cover page. Please.
Let me just show you quickly. I think you are talking about this place.
Yes.
I think you are talking about this place.
Yes,
Can you see my screen? Yes, this is the outline. Yes, the outline is like table of contents.
Okay.
It's like table of contents, like all the things you want to do.
Okay.
More or less like all these things I state. You are going to state, oh, your cover page is going to come, your executive summary. So when I see, even without, I know, next thing is executive cover page. You understand?
Okay.
That's the.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes. So what you need to do, of course, we have introduction, the body of the report, what you want to do. You now state what you want to do under body of report. Let's say you will calculate ratio. You will put it there, financial ratio, analysis of company SY. You know, you will state it. You understand? You will state it. That's it. But at least your table of contents show, okay, after this is what they should see, this is what they will see, this is what they will see. The order, the arrangement of your report, more or less like the order it will follow. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. Please go ahead. I can see Windy. Please, did I pronounce your name well? Sorry if, pardon me.
Sir, you tried, you're close to it.
Okay.
But there's no problem.
Okay.
So my question is for this outline of the report, which is the table of content, like you said, is it compulsory to do that in the examination?
No, it's not compulsory.
Okay.
It's not compulsory. Yes, it's not. Okay, Ayo, quickly ask a question. Ayo, I can see your hands up. Please ask your question.
I've done that before, sir.
Oh, okay. Olawale, ask your question.
Okay, sir. Looking at okay, sir. Looking at the order of the reports, the last thing is appendix. But that appendix is the first thing we're going to do in the exam hall, Abi.
Is it appendix you are going to do?
I'm asking question the question is this. Looking at the order of the reports, the appendix is the last thing in the order of the report that's displayed. The appendix is and the also last thing. In the exam hall, by the time we collect our question paper and the answer booklets, after writing this cover page, before we start writing the body of the letter, we need to go and do calculation first at the back? Or what I'm trying to say is that, are we going to leave space for all the body of the letter, the key findings, recommendation, and go and do the appendix first?
Yes. What I normally recommend is that leave space. What I normally recommend that you leave space to go and do all your calculation at the back. Leave space. In fact, and if you are not sure of the type of space you will leave, collect extra sheets. Collect extra sheets and start your calculation on a separate on your this thing. You know that I'm using this main for my report. You understand?
Okay, I understand that.
Just collect extra. You know that this extra sheet I'm using it for my calculation. I will start, but my own report will start on this one. You understand? So that's it.
I have understood. All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, so I believe I've answered all our questions. Okay, thank you very much. We need to stop this class now because I need to leave where I am. I need to start heading home now. I want to say thank you very much to all of you for your time, for joining this class. This live class has been very impactful, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your contribution, and thank you for the time you created to be here. You've made this class wonderful and beautiful. Thank you very much. We're going to meet again in our pre-scene extended revision class. Thank you very much. If you have any other question, drop it for me on the Telegram platform where I'm going to attend to it. And at this point, I'll be saying thank you and goodbye. And this will bring the May 2025 live class to an end. Thank you to Study Code and all the admin of Study Code that put this together. Thank you, all of you, and God bless you. See you next when we are meeting.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye.
Thank
Yes.
you,
God
sir.
bless you, sir.
Everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
God bless you.
God bless you.